Alrighty, pimples.
Make sure you mute.
Some good things, some maybe not so good things. Blessings the whole way around, though. Pimples.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. All right. All right. You got YouTube over there?
Not yet, but I will.
We're getting there.
There it is. Sweet.
There you go.
Now I'm on. Oh, I got this over here.
All right. We're good to go. Everybody's up. If you're here on YouTube, type your questions in. Lance will be over man in the YouTube channel, and any typed questions, anything like that, he will man and bring them up. All of you on here's somebody trying to find link on Messenger. Yeah. Carol Powers. Yep.
Let me see if I can do that.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you're on live with me here on the thing, jump in. We'll answer questions, things like that. We have a couple newbies. Hi, I'm Tammy Lawbalker. This is my husband, my other half, my better half, my co-partner in crime, all the above. Lance.
My name's Lance.
Otherwise, answers is honey or whatever. We do this journey together. We've been on this journey for about 4 years together. We are learning so much. We just came off of Dr. Boz's advanced protocol course, and I got my mind blown. So it's one of those, we're realizing how important community is, sisterhood, brotherhood, doing this as a family, doing this as a tribe is where the success comes in. We can all know the science. We can all read the steps. We can all do the protocol. But if you do not relate that to an emotional connection in your tribe, in your family, in your world, it doesn't matter how much you know the science. This is where the magic is happening to make it a lifestyle in a lifetime. This is just life-changing. This is the part that becomes, when you put the emotional connection into it, we all get together as a family. This is what makes us different than just doing another diet or another little program or another step-by-step that you're going to do it for a few weeks and then you're going to be done. We want you to be in for a lifetime. We want you to get that health at the cellular level so we can walk through this together. And you're going to learn how. I just had 20 of the most beautiful women in my face for 3 weeks, learning how to maneuver life strategies and some of the biggest heart-wrenching moments of life that people are going through, stressors. And you've watched these ladies stay the course, stay focused, and stay exactly on track as they needed to get over those hurdles. They didn't look for excuses. They didn't give themselves excuses. They worked the program. They stayed the course. They helped each other. They pulled each other over the hurdles when they couldn't do it. It was just phenomenal. Some of them are here tonight already. So I love you ladies. And I'm so proud to be a part of you guys. But it was just life-changing. And I want y'all to know, we all, like I keep saying the same thing, we all have better things to do on a Sunday night than to sit here with each other. But being with like-minded people, learning this science, doing these steps every week, every day, working through the struggles and the problems and the hurdles of keto and life and heartache, and just walking it out like the good Lord has us here to do, has been the biggest reward and blessing I could ever have asked for. So it's just, I don't know what else to say, but we're just blessed to be here with all of you. So, okay. Our journey for the week, we'll get started. Our week was, I was out of schedule. I was out of whack, everything just from the class. So opened up my eating window later than I was supposed to. My numbers horribly reflect that. I'm one of those people, I'm trying to stop eating early, but my early eating window was coming right in the middle of my classes and my time with my girls. So this week coming is going to be getting me on track and getting our schedule made. I'm one of those, I'm a planner. So I look at my routine, I look at my schedule, I look at my calendar, I plan accordingly. What days can I stop eating at this time? What days can I stop eating by this time? I plan all that out ahead. So I know what's coming. I know what my number should be doing. I know when I can do this, how I can do this. And I make a plan every day of the week. If I know I have a major stressor coming up on Wednesday, that is not going to be the big day that I push through major stressors in my life. So you're going to learn to juggle all those things. And that's how we do it as a family. That's how we do it as a couple. We fast Sunday through Wednesday so that come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we can be family. Then we start again Sunday afternoon. We do our fast every week. Now, right now, since my recent heart attack, Dr. Boz has me backed off. I'm doing the sardine challenge every day instead of the clean 72-hour fast that I normally do. We love those 72s. The 72s is where I feel the absolute best I have felt since chemo 20 years ago. So I love the fasting. And when I say fasting, we do a clean fast. So that's nothing but black coffee, black tea, water, and salt. That is how we fast. Right now, I am doing the sardine challenge. I'm getting there. I'm learning. It's getting better. I'm developing my palate. I am sticking to the course. I am getting them in me for the love and the nutrition of what they give my body. So I'm trying not to complain too much. Still complaining, but not as much as I could be. I'm doing the sardines so I can get that nutritional value in me. I need the help of what those little boogers give me. So as much as I do not like them, I love what they do for my body. It's the nutrition that I need. It's those good omega-3s. I want the brain health. That is where the long-term journey in this is going to help me heal. That is what I'm looking for. So that's kind of where we're at this week. We're moving forward, back to routine, back to our structure, back to getting everything planned and everything ahead best we can. So that being said, how can we help you guys? We've got some questions on hang on, we got to shut everything off here. We took the poll in the group today. So we're going to, a couple things that we learned during Dr. Boz's course is the community questions are the ones that help the most. The community questions are the ones that we're going to work on and try to get everybody over those hurdles. And instead of the whole class just being a free-for-all every week, we're going to try to focus in and have topics every week on our lives as we can. So those things keep in mind. If you have questions during the week and stuff, put them in the weekly poll that I will post on the group page. And then those are the questions that we'll pull to try to work from. Becca, do you have something I can help you with, hon? Oh, hang on, we got you muted. If anybody wants to come in and ask a question, though, you got to unmute. Nope, you're still muted, hon.
How's this?
There you go. Now we can hear you. Come on in, say hi.
Hi. I'm just going because what I was doing follows right after what you just said. I did a 3-day sardine fast. And I actually like them, or at least the brand that somebody had recommended to me, which was really good. But during that, I supplemented it with fat bombs because the protein-fat ratio is something that is important to me for mental health. And I needed to try and get that at least up to a 1-to-1, which sardines don't do. But while I was doing the sardine fast, my numbers were fantastic.
Yep.
And they were slightly less good yesterday and today, but still right up there in high levels of ketosis. And yesterday I didn't have much energy, but today I was powered by ketones. I got so much done. And I just hope it lasts through tomorrow. Because I have other things I need to try and do. But I did a lot of cooking in advance and got a whole bunch of other things accomplished, and I'm feeling really smug. And in another 2 days, I'll start a clean fast, a water fast, and do that for 3 days. I find out from my psychiatrist tomorrow what my next medication decrease is.
Good job. Nice work. Nice work. And that's exactly what we need everybody to kind of get on board. And that's what we worked a lot on in this class is learning how to plan your fast accordingly, plan whatever your body's ready to do and moving forward in that. Where she's talking about the sardines, that was one of the advanced protocols. Not everybody can do a sardine challenge. Don't like them, but I love what they do for our bodies. But she's talking about the fat to protein ratio. Everybody's protein and fats can be 1 to 2, 2 to 3. It's crazy the amounts of fats that some people have to take. My brother just popped on. He just did an Ironman. The fat ratios that everybody has to do is completely different, but that's where chronometer comes in. Put your numbers in chronometer so you know exactly where your fats and protein ratio needs to be. So good job.
I'm going to take a minute real quick. I hate to interrupt everybody, but I'm going to. I want to say congratulations to this person, my wife, and also all the other coaches out there that went through 3 weeks of entire hell trying to get their schedule, trying to get these people was it 5 weeks? Yeah. Just trying to get everything put together and pulled off. And I think for the most part, it was fabulous. Everybody did great. I know that a lot of people that were in her class really loved it. I know she spent a lot of time with Dr. Boz and all the other coaches, and I think it was a really cool brainstorming, awesome idea of what happened. And it's just going to make this community, the community that's out there under Dr. Boz, grow so much. And I want to say congratulations to each and every coach, including this one right here, where it's everybody on here is so proud of you and such a great job that you did. So I just wanted to say kudos and get everybody's to have that happen. So
thank you. Thank you all. Again, all the ladies that were in the class with us in the whole thing have just been phenomenal. And it's cool because it's going to be information we're going to be able to bring into here and share with all you guys. Becca was talking, one of them, with the stuff with the, sardines and stuff. I know we've got a lot of questions coming in over this whole sardine thing, and just know it's just a high density nutrition food that doesn't give you a whole lot of a dopamine response or any type of big yahoo in the brain. So, which is exactly what we're trying to wipe out. We want to decrease all those sparks in the brain that come off from all the foods that we eat, and sardines definitely squash that fire out real quick. So it gives you the nutrition that you need without the big old hoo-ha, I don't even know the word, celebration moment that you're looking for with food. So it's retraining the brain, moving you forward. And I just want to take a minute to say congratulations to my brother that started on Dr. Boz's protocol. Let him come in and tell you here in a minute. He just finished up an Ironman that I am so proud of him.
First one he did, he finished, and that's
he was
incredible.
6 months ago or so when we were down with Dr. Boz training, and we were on a live, and he was able to ask her about refueling and how to refuel long term like that for the Ironman. So I'm just so proud of him to be able to say I love you, and I'm so proud.
And we actually posted a video of that on our YouTube channel of that interview, and now he can go back and check it out and see how well he did.
Yes. So good job. So Jimmy, you want to come in and tell us how it all went, how you refueled, how did your ketones hold up through the whole process? Did you bonk it all? Tell us how that went, because then even if you're not, we're not looking at it as the Ironman, most of us, but constantly needing fuel does apply to all of us, and being fat adapted is
the amount of stress that you put your body under was impressive.
So come on in. I love you. It's good to see you.
It's good seeing you. I love you too. And thank you, first of all. But no, it was good. It was a good learning lesson about refueling during that. It took me about 8 hours. It was a half Ironman. It was a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike ride, and a 13.1 mile run in Augusta, Georgia. It went well. I learned a lot about my body. I learned a lot about refueling. I was off on my timing on refueling, and I could feel the energy start dipping off. I found a product that's commercially made that's kind of geared toward keto as best as I could. Was utilizing them during the bike and the run course. I could feel them starting to kick back in because it was bringing the fat back in to my diet. It was a good learning lesson. I just signed up about an hour ago for my next one. My next one will be June 11th in Maryland. At my age, I think I'm good with the half Ironmans. I don't need to go out there and kill myself with a full one. But they're good. They're entertaining. It's a good time. It was a good learning lesson. I'll be ready again for the next one. I got a little bit more practice now and understand more what my body needs. I'm at about a 3-to-1 fat ratio.
Yep.
Proteins. Just my normal diet's about 3-to-1. For about 3 or 4 days building up to the Augusta, I ramped it up to about 5 to 6-to-1. Just trying to fat load to pack it on a little bit because I run kind of lean. Normally my body weight's about 165. Right before the race, I was down to about 160 because there's some science behind every pound that you lose is a different percentage of amount of run time that you can shave off. So I was trying to stay as lean as I could, but also still be able to get as much fat in my body as I could.
Jimmy, 1 second. Let me tell First of all, just know where he started when he first started his keto journey with us. He was pushing 300 pounds. So just know in the last, what's it taking you, Jimmy? What's this been?
A year, maybe about a year or so. We changed our eating habits prior to keto, so we had a little bit of
Jump start on it.
a jump start a little bit. And then me and Tina and I are very bullheaded, so it's either all in or all out. So whenever we went all in, we did the keto, or we did the kitchen dump where we throw everything away. I'm a big donut and Pop-Tart fan. I completely stopped to zero. So it wasn't hard for us to do that because there's a thin line between insanity and stupidity, and sometimes we dwell on both sides. But it was an all-in commitment. So if we're going to do it, we might as well go ahead and do it fully, because we're not going to ease into it. It's to jump into the pool or ease your foot into it. So we're the people that just go ahead and jump in. But it was a good learning lesson, and I'm still learning every day. Every second, if I think I've learned something new, it opens up my eyes to something that is new to me. Whenever it comes to dealing with diet, and your body adapts to it, your body becomes used to stuff. So you got to continuously kind of change it. And like with us, with our fasting, we cycle it pretty consistently. So, and I can tell whenever my body's starting to get used to something, and you got to kind of shock it again and bring it back around.
Yep.
And that's a lot of what we were learning in this class. Of each level somebody would plateau out at, to realize that there's just another level. Now you need to push that mitochondria, stress that body again. Yep. And again, it's just such a cool learning curve. Just like you were saying, learning that fat to protein ratio for you, same thing Becca was saying with hers, everybody, Lance had his when he lost all that weight. So learning that new ratio of the proteins to the fats, but just keeping in mind, it's still a fat-based diet. Those fat hormones are the key to leading you through and letting your chemistry carry you through. So Jimmy, I'm just so proud of you, and I couldn't be more proud of you, and I can't wait. You got to get me to open up this video so I can get it posted and show it.
You'll be pretty impressed. Tina spent some time to it, and I'm not a very emotional type fella, and this one started to bring a tear to my eye. Yeah, she did pretty good. She did exceptionally well.
Well, thanks, Tina, for taking care of my Bubba.
I
can't wait. Just so everybody knows, Tina made a video of Jimmy and the Iron Man. So we will get that posted here as soon as I can get my computer to open it. I've been trying for 2 days.
She can't open it.
To get it open. So we're going to try to figure it out, but we'll get everybody there. So we'll get it posted as soon as we can to share his journey. And the one back, it's on the YouTube channel of where Dr. Boz was talking to Jimmy about fueling through the race and how to keep refueled and everything. So that's what he's been learning about and growing on. And again, we're all not at Ironman levels of ketosis, but it's still learning to refuel your body and your body lasting and moving forward and fueling on those fats. So
absolutely. Yeah, check that.
Tina did get it sent another format to you. So hopefully the new format she sent to you, Lance and Tammy, hopefully it'll work this time. The biggest caveat that I learned during this process is it's a new type of thinking process. There's a lot of people out there now doing endurance type exercises or endurance type physical fitness that follows some form of ketosis type dieting. But it's very new to the thinking process. So it's not widely accepted, because I had a lot of people saying how I was going to fail that I associate with, just because they are used to drinking the Gatorades, the gel packs, taking pretzels, bananas, oranges, stuff like that on the run and the bike ride. And I wasn't taking none of that. I had they're called F-bombs. They're high fat, bombs. Low protein.
They're fat bombs.
They're I mean, it's 22% or 22 grams of fat. I think 3 proteins and like 2 carbs or something. It's very minimal carbs.
So does everybody understand what he's saying right there? The old school, as a personal trainer from 30 years ago, we were taught, when somebody wants to have major energy like that, or extraneous, anything like that, you would carb load. Do you remember back in the day when the athletes, a night before a football game or a basketball game, the team would get fed spaghetti dinner and all of those things, so we could carb load through that. The science is different now. We've all had to retrain our brains, retrain our thinking. And when he's talking about a long-term endurance like that, again, the science is so different now than what, to refuel the body and to keep the body fueled. But that applies not just to an Ironman, that applies to somebody trying to heal their brain, to somebody trying to heal, from addiction, to heal, all of those things are, again, it's training that fuel in your body to be used on fat and grow on fat, not just be used as a carb load. We get people that run through different cycles of levels of ketosis and stuff like that, and they want to cycle in and cycle out and carb load and all of that. And it's like, no. I just can't see the benefit of teasing your body like that all the time. Get there and stay there. My body needs to learn how to use that fuel and stay consistent at it. And I think every time you tease your body back into carbs, I don't get that luxury. I mean, and I don't find most people.
And you think about it too. I mean, Jimmy, you were very strict on how you prepared for this, and it does take preparation. And by using those fats in that extreme circumstance that he just put his body through, think about what everybody else is doing. We're not doing it to that extreme, but it's the same process still works. That means you can take it from doing your everyday thing. And if you want to go to that extreme, it is possible using the same methods, the same way of thinking, the same healing process. You just ramp it up and your body takes it and uses it for fuels.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And just know that chemistry process that Jimmy's talking about is the same chemistry process that I use to get myself off the Oxycontin, to heal my neuropathy. It's the same process Becca's using to get off her medications and to reverse the damage that we've all done through the standard American diet. That same process, he's just taken it to a whole nother level for an Ironman, but it is that same chemical process in the body that we're all using to help reverse disease and help get off medications and to help heal our brain. It's the same process. We just have to go at whatever pace our bodies can handle. So it's just kind of cool. Kind of cool to see. Okay, couple questions. Let me see. I know we had questions on the thing. Let's go see where everybody's at. Okay, biggest question that popped up this week on the poll. Why do you need to know your glucose and ketones? Because if you do not know your chemistry and you do not know your numbers, you do not know what is going on. So it's just a judgment call of how you function every day. We check our ketones and our glucose every morning so that we know what we're doing. Is my body in a healing mode today, or is my body in an inflammatory mode today? That's my goal every morning. I want to know where I'm at. I want to know what I'm doing. That is so important. That is why chronometer and checking is so important. If you don't know your numbers, trust me, carb creep jumps right into everybody's package. It doesn't matter whose it is. Everybody can get that carb creep going. If you're not tracking and knowing exactly what's going in your mouth and in your body, you don't know your body chemistry. You have to know your numbers, your glucose and ketones. Peeing on a stick works for a few weeks, but after that, if you really want to get to reversing your damage, you've got to clean it up. You got to eliminate the noise, and you got to do the blood work to know every morning if you're healing or if you're in inflammatory mode. The other thing is it's incentive. When you know what your numbers are and you know you've had that good Dr. Boz ratio for 4 days in a row, when you come to Friday and Saturday, you do not want to jump off the wagon because you've done too much darn good work for the week and you know your body's going in the right direction. It makes you not want to back up and go off the rails. It makes you not want to say, oh, I deserve this glass of wine tonight or whatever. You don't deserve that. You deserve to stay on track and be healthy. That's what you deserve. And that's the hard part to get through. But knowing your numbers and knowing that consistency is exactly what's going to help you know that, understand how to do that. Who wants to jump in? Anybody want to come in and any questions? Anybody about ketones or anything like that, fueling that you want to jump in on before we go on?
What was the other question on Facebook?
What was the other?
The other polling question.
Need to know.
No, I think you did.
Why do most of us need to remove all sweeteners? This was a good one that we all learned about while we were doing our class this week. We all realized a lot of us realized in the group that yes, there's good sweeteners out there that will be zero carbs, that they will fit beautifully in your macros. They will just glide right over. There's zero carbs, don't matter, don't count. Till you do your numbers. That's the other thing for your ketones and glucose. I can put a 0 carb sweetener in my coffee and my glucose will raise. My body does not like any type of sweetness on my tongue. When my tongue gets that sweetness to it, my body says, woohoo, lights are going off, sweeteners are coming in, and my body gets that reaction to it. So learning to clean up that mess is basically eliminating all sweetness from my tongue. It's kind of the same theory. The way I kind of relate that is, would you take an alcoholic to the bar and say, here, have a light beer? It's the same tease. It's the same concept. It's the same reaction in the body as you would with an alcoholic. So instead of having that reaction, I eliminate all sweetness because my body gets that horrible reaction to it. And if you check your numbers, most people, if you're insulin resistant or have major metabolic damage and stuff like that, most of us can't. And some of us in our group that we just finished, some of the best people in there that's done keto for years figured out their hurdles and their problems by eliminating the noise and eliminating those sweetnesses.
And the only way you find that is if you do your numbers, you do your blood, your glucose, your ketones, you check, you record. That way you start to know. And it's amazing how those two questions right there go hand in hand with each other. You're not going to find out if a sweetener is bad for you unless you know your numbers.
Yep.
So,
Kathleen, do you care if I share a little bit of your story before you jump in?
Go right ahead. I just have a question on something you said earlier, talking to your brother, Jimmy. I was just, if I can just have you clarify one real thing.
Go ahead.
I'm confused. When you say the science changed, I understand when we used to just tell everybody carb load, that whole thing. When you say the science changed, I'm confused by what do you mean by that?
I just mean what we were taught. I guess maybe it's not just the science, but what we were taught back in school when we were learning nutrition and we were learning personal training.
Yeah, even the triathletes. I used to ride bicycle like Jimmy did, but I just did the bike in college. Even when we were doing that, it was carbs. That would fuel you for a 62-mile ride, a metric century or a 100-mile ride. You always packed on some carbs with you just so you'd have enough energy so you wouldn't bonk or whatever. That thinking now is changing to where when your body is running on fats, you don't want any carbs in there. You're going to have to load it with fats to get fuel to make it through there instead of carbs. So that part of the science is changing.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. And Kathleen is one of my beautiful ladies that has become my family in this group that we just did. And she's the perfect example when we all make excuses and we all say, oh, I can't do this because life is rough right now. And it's hard because of this, or I got the stress at work, or I've got the stress in life or whatever. This beautiful woman, and I'm going to tell this without crying.
I'm going to see this. She can do this. This
beautiful lady has, sorry.
Not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. This beautiful soul has buried her too many family members in 1 year.
Yep.
Okay, you can do this. You can do this.
I know. Her mother, the day after Mother's Day, her son 43 days later, and now has her husband home on hospice. And is literally in the last moments. And this woman has had the love and the grace and the strength to stay every bit on course. And if that is not an inspiration to say the rest of our problems that the rest of us are dealing with are trivial, this woman is staying on course, staying focused, doing what her health needs in the worst time I can imagine of a person ever going through. And it's just one of those things that it doesn't matter. I thought I had it rough. I just had a heart attack. This stinks. It's a horrible. No, my heart attack is nothing compared to what this woman is going through. Dying would be easier than doing what she's went through as a mother and a wife and a daughter and all of that. So I guess I'm just saying the biggest thing, one of the biggest things we learned coming out of this class was don't make excuses for yourself. If you want to do this and get healthy, you have answers in front of you and we can get you through it. Becca is a fighter. Kathleen's a fighter.
So many people on here are fighters.
This is nothing to do with, oh, I wish I would fit in my skinny jeans. That is not what this is about. This is about health. This is about life and death. This is about survival. And if Kathleen could do this in the worst time that she is going through, glory be to God and the grace and the strength to give her to do this. But the tribe is what pulls us all together. She doesn't have a husband to go share life with right now and ask the questions and talk and say, this just stinks because I want to do this or want to do that. It's just a beautiful, beautiful way of our whole class that we did. Our finale thing on Friday was called Sisterhood. And the sisters and brothers in this group, if you don't have a support system at home, it's knowing that this group right here, we are family and we will help pull you through. And that's what's going to build mirror neurons in your brain to make this a lifestyle that's going to survive. And
you did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
So Kathleen, anyways, we just love you and we're so proud of you and you're such an inspiration to all of us.
Yep.
Well, I give God the glory for carrying me through and giving me the strength and the ability to focus on something that will long-term help me and my health. And I think that's the absolute joy of this whole thing, is that each one of us have that ability. And when you get those numbers right in front of your face, you're able to see what it is, and then you can move forward and say, okay, well, yesterday what I did didn't quite work out with how my body dealt with that. So now check that one and move on to today. So I just really encourage everybody on here. This woman that we're listening to knows what she's doing. So if you need some one-on-one help, people, please don't hesitate to reach out to Tammy. She is truly a solid rock star to all of us women that went through this. And you've got people like Alex, I'm looking at right now. He, a mind boggler, what he's accomplished. Just so it's not just for women. We love all of you guys. So I'm bowing out.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. We love you.
And I'm gonna go somewhere right now. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take off on it. This is more than just a diet. And we're learning this right now. We're putting some pieces together. It's more than just a lifestyle. This is connected so many different ways. It's connected spiritually, it's connected physically, it's connected mentally. I mean, it's all encompassing, and it gives me chills to think about it. But there is so much power in what we are doing in the lifestyle that we're trying to lead. It is connected so many different ways in a good way.
We sat in church today in awe of what our pastor was talking about. And we had talked a little bit about this the other day, of how Pastor Kurt was teaching us to prune, the things that get removed from your life, or the people that get removed from your life. And sometimes that's such a heartache and hard to live by. But that pruning that he teaches us is the same discipline that I look at towards our keto journey, of the pruning the things that need out of our kitchen, out of our life, out of our diet. It's so related together. We were talking about in Daniel, of the fasting in Daniel. And it's like how closely related that is to what we're trying to do here, of getting our body, praying for somebody that needs the support when we need to fast. Instead of thinking inward and on ourselves, we turn it outward and pray for somebody else. That Kathleen will forever be on the top of my prayer list, just because the woman is the epitome of grace and strength and dignity, and those kind of things you can't make up. You can't change that.
No. And when you're going through a 72-hour fast, that there are moments where you need to dig down spiritually and deeply and have something push you forward, because you have to rely and grab onto something to get you through those moments. And it's now become fresh in our minds, and I'm not going to leave it go. So I'm not going to turn this into a Bible beating thumping thing either, but all I know is we're backed by Christ and we're fueled on ketones. So
another one of the questions on here is talking about fasting. Who needs to fast? That's one of the questions that keeps coming up. Does everybody need to fast? People look at us like being crazy because we fast all the time. We choose to fast all the time. Our chemistry has carried us through the program of Dr. Boz. We've been going on it for about 4 years now. Our chemistry carries us through. We established and built our chemistry up so we could do this as a family and get to those healing levels, hitting that autophagy, that norepinephrine, that human growth hormone, all those splurges that we love and feel so good about. That's what carries us through that. So everybody doesn't have to. It's not a mandatory thing in the program by no means, but if you're insulin resistant, you have major metabolic damage, you have neuropathy, you have all these brain fog, you have all these issues. Is it a goal that we all want to eventually probably get to?
Might be something you want to think about.
Absolutely. I remember when I started, I'm like, I'm hypoglycemic. There is no way I will ever fast. I'll do the program, but there is no way on this earth I will ever fast, because I will be flopping around like a dead fish. The best I have felt in 20 years since they put chemo in my body is fasting.
About week number 7, on our third way through a 72-hour fast, she was freaking bouncing. There's no way to describe it. She was bouncing off the walls. I had to sit on her to get her to stop.
It was the best I have felt since chemo. And Dr. Boz has me backed up right now since my heart attack. I'm trying to give patience and grace to my body to let it heal a little bit. So instead of doing a 72-hour clean fast, I am doing the Sardine challenge.
Not me. I'm on week number 2, 72.
72 clean. Jimmy, can you jump in? Becca is asking, how did you get those ratios on your fats? Becca has a hard time getting the fats in and keeping those ratios as good as she can. Where'd Jimmy go?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm right here.
Can you tell us what all you're having to get those kind of ratios that you're talking about?
So I have found with my palate, I have a very finicky palate, I guess you could say. I do a lot of avocado oil. I'm probably quarter of a cup over or so avocado oil. I mix it into my eggs, my meat, anything, when I'm making eggs. So like one of my meals is probably 6 full eggs. I'll have 3 or 4 extra yolks added into there. I'll add about 3 tablespoons of avocado oil, 2 tablespoons of Irish butter into the eggs. I got one of them bullet blenders. I'll put it into the blender, let it aerate, which it grossly airs up the eggs. So it's a lot more volume that I'm going to have. And then when I cook it, I'm also cooking it with 2 tablespoons of avocado oil in the pan with another tablespoon of Irish butter in the pan to be able to cook them up. When I get them out, I'll add another tablespoon of butter into the folded eggs. I'll add 2 or 3 more tablespoons of avocado oil on top of the eggs and let them sit. Because when you bring any kind of food product out, a lot of times it's very absorbent to liquids when it first comes out of the pan when it's still hot. So when you add that, it kind of draws the moisture into the eggs. Then I'll have some bacon. I'm not a huge bacon fan, but I'll have 2 or 3 pieces of bacon.
So proud.
A half of an avocado. What's some of the other stuff
just so y'all know, Jimmy doesn't do cream. Fat. When we first started this, Jimmy don't even eat bacon. So
no, I can't stand bacon.
He gags over fat. So to know that his palate has changed, his microbiome has changed. He's also a chef. So to know that he is cooking with this much fat and training and redoing all this stuff that he has never been able to do, those are all physical changes that has happened in his body in the last year.
I'm going to say mental as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
a huge mental part.
Jimmy used to gag just talking about it. Like we would talk about the oil and he's like,
no,
he's tapping out. He's tapping out. We're just proud of you, but that's the kind of fat ratios that extreme situation took. Not everybody's going to need that ratio, but I know that when I leaned out, that was something that I discovered that I was actually 3-to-1 ratio, and I really had to push that to continue my fueling just for my everyday stuff. So I can see where a 5-to-1 ratio would be when you're at that big extreme. It was this. I don't know if any of you remember back when we first figured out Lance was tapping out on fats and didn't have enough fuel. When we drew the volume up, when we checked his chronometer, we went back because he hadn't changed his weight on the chronometer. So when we adjusted that and he finally figured it out, it was 1.25 cups equivalent of fat that he needed a day. To get that visual of how much fat he needed to consume every day was a game changer. And it was huge because it was tonnage. It's the same thing kind of like with the salt. People say, I put a sprinkle in my water. It's like, no, you don't need a sprinkle. He didn't need a little bit of fat in his eggs. He needed a little bit of egg in his fat. It's kind of looking at it in a different way. It's like, it is so much more. It's a fat-based diet. You got to get the fats going. Becca, that's working on the brain health. So many people in here, Jimmy, everybody that is working on the brain health and everything like that, you've got to keep the fats. You got to keep the fats up. I was working on the neuropathy and the nerve damage. You got to keep those fats up. It's such a win-win. And that's where those omega-3s, making sure those omegas are good, all those things coming in. Okay, what you got? Any more? Alex saying no shooters on that. On the thing. Yes, sometimes we can do shooters and get the oil in you, and sometimes we just can't. Alex, you got a question? You want to jump in, hon?
No, but I just wanted to say no shooters. No, I just wanted to say that when you and I had talked to a bunch of people that were keto friendly, if you want to call that, and it's just so funny how everybody does keto a little bit different. And you were talking about the numbers, how the numbers don't lie.
Yep.
And these people just don't know their numbers and they don't know what they're doing.
No.
And I mean, we just went through the whole thing and I kind of wasn't staying as keto as I thought I was doing this weekend. Let's just say that. Let's just put that out there. And I went from threes down to something else. And it's funny because what I was thinking was, because I was working today, I really didn't feel, I felt really different, and not in a good way, because
Yep.
you're like jumpy, exactly what you said. I never felt so jumpy in my life, but it wasn't like an uncomfortable jumpy. It was a comfortable jumpy. And
Right. You had energy.
yeah,
You're
it was
full.
just energy. I had to like exude. So I just started my 72-hour fast today, and non-sardine 72-hour fast, I think.
Nice.
Good.
But it'll be
We'll
my
see you on
third.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be my, how many weeks did we do them already, Wendy? I mean, Tammy,
2 or 3.
this will be the third.
Yeah, this will be your third, I think.
Yeah, this will be the third. Yeah, because it's 3 weeks. Yeah, and I never thought I could never do a 72-hour fast, but I gotta tell you, it wasn't as hard as I thought. The main thing is you just have to suck rocks and drink lots of water, and you'll be fine.
Yep.
And Alex,
And
I
just
just
know-
want to say to you, first of all, sorry. I'm so proud of you. You know, Alex went through the advanced course. Alex is one of those people I've worked with and coached with for a long time, and we could never get him over the hump to stay consistent. We could just never
Well,
quite get him there.
I just didn't want to do what I needed to do.
And so I'm just proud of him, because again, it's the accountability and just doing it that is going to keep you
And just-
consistent.
Wait, first off, how do I follow up? What's her name? Kathleen. I mean, come on.
Just keep doing it, man. Just keep
No, I'm just saying,
doing it.
how do you follow up that? I was like,
Don't- you don't.
Excuse me, you're doing a great job.
no.
Bam.
Everybody was crying on Friday. Like there was like, it was sponsored by Kleenex. And I mean that in a great way.
But you don't have to follow it, man. You just do it.
No, I know.
That's it. Period.
It was just really amazing to see, and I'm sad that I wasn't in your group, but I'm really glad that I wasn't, because you guys really you got what you needed, and
We
that
did.
was great. So
did.
anyway,
One
I just
one thing I
wanted-
want to tell you too, Alex, you're coming up on a spot where in that third, fourth, fifth week of
Okay.
the 72-hour fast, that's when it becomes mental. There is more mental going on there, because you can white knuckle it through the first couple. When you get into that series and you keep going, just get your mind right, because you're going to need your mind right in the next 3, I would say 3 more fasts, because it's really going to pull on your system.
I will say this: I ref sports, and the first week it was hard. Like it was just hard.
There's a change.
And, like, just to try to fast in general. And now, as long as you stay busy, at least for me, as long as you stay busy, you can get through it.
Well, you're coming in. You're
Right,
coming
it's all
into the.
mental.
You're coming into the third, fourth quarter changeover right about now.
And I
Yeah.
just want to say, between Wayne, Alex, Jimmy, any other men that get in here, and Lance, I just challenge all of you to get your spouses involved if you can. If, go to them. I had to go to Lance and say, I'm not doing this to fit my skinny jeans. I'm doing this to save my life. And that's what got him on board with me. And that's what made that change. So we could do this together. We're doing this to help each other and move each other along, because I want to be here as long as the good Lord will leave me here to love this man as much as I can. This isn't a skinny thing. This is I want to be alive and healthy. I want to be here. I want to be happy. And that is so important. So if I can ask any of you, go have that serious conversation with your spouse. Invite them to get on here. We got Lance now. We got Alex. We got Wayne. We got Jimmy. We're getting some men that are being leaders of their families. And I'm just so proud of all of you.
Thank you.
For jumping in and doing that and being the men to help follow and be the leaders, just as we all need.
Well,
So
as I got
Wayne-
yelled at by my wife, I'm not too much of a leader right now, so I got to go.
go before you get in trouble, Alex.
Exactly.
Come on in,
Have a
Wayne.
wonderful-
Jump in
have
if you
a-
got a question, hon.
Wayne had one, and then Sherry Smith had one.
Yeah. Hi there. This is the first time I've been around where we've talked about protein as much. Anything in the Monday night class that we're doing right now, we're still in the introductory phase. You always say, don't worry about protein.
Right.
So I guess I wanted to have get a little insight from you on that. If I should be doing something different with protein or what.
Right.
I
Go
did take the advice that we went over last Monday night. I did jump on a scale. I was down, but I wasn't as down as much as I would have hoped. So it was neutral. It wasn't discouraging. It wasn't, a big major win. But my blood glucose has been staying lower. It's still way too high. My ketones are up a little bit. So all positive things. But I'm like, okay, how can I fine tune this a little more? I've been messing around a little bit with the settings in Chronometer because I'm hitting my fat goals. I'm under 20 carbs, but my protein is through the roof. So is that holding me back at all?
The protein you don't want to worry about too much because you're still in the beginning stages of your journey. So we are still establishing your chemistry. So you can tweak those things when you get down the line. But right now you're just making sure those fats are up and the proteins are moderate. If you're getting your fat macros in first, you're probably not, you can't go over because I'd like to say you can't go over too much on the protein, but Lance could eat a side of beef.
Yeah, you really need to concentrate on your fats. And you said you were under 20 carbs. I go under 10.
Yeah, I was at 10 today.
Okay, then if you're at 10 now, I would increase your fats as much as you can get. It's not time yet to worry about the protein. I would concentrate on going to 0 carbs then, or 5 carbs. Play with your carbs and your fat right now until you get 0 carbs and as much fat as you can get. Run your body on that for a while.
Well, he still has an open eating window too, so we're still.
Oh, okay. Then you got.
Well, I was moving to 4 hours.
Good.
Okay, good.
And that stuff will all tighten up as we close that eating window, and as we move you closer to OMAD, that stuff's going to get easier and easier to control. Even
in that 4-hour window, I would still work on getting your carbs as low as possible. Goal of 0. And getting your fats as high as you can. When you get past that step and you get to your OMAD, then you can start, I have this much fat to get and I have this much protein. Once you have conquered the 0, no carbs, when you conquer that and you move to an OMAD, then you can start looking at your fat to protein ratio, because hopefully by then your body is transitioning to burning that fat. Now, you're still going to have to burn that fat until you get leaned out enough to where that protein fat ratio is a concern, because at one point, then you'll need to increase those fats again and kind of keep your proteins low, because that's what your body is running on. So that's what it'll happen later. But I think your goals right now don't necessarily mess with the protein.
And especially with just tightening up your window, let's ride that window out for a little bit and then see where you go with that, because I wouldn't worry too much about it right now.
Okay.
But nice to think about. In the on down the line, it will be something that you will mess with.
And just know when you hit that swish moment that all the guys talk about and have hit, when you hit that, you
lean out.
Ooh. Every girl around you is going to be jealous, because we all struggle with it. Us girls
no offense, but you've been saying that for like 3 weeks to me, and it's like, okay, when is this?
I tell you,
I know, but just know we were in this for months before we got all that chemistry.
I would say it's been a year and a half for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me a while, because I had so much flexibility in my metabolism that I could do it. I'm going to say
could get away
I
with
could
it.
do it half-assed and not, and still get some benefits. It wasn't until I got dead serious about doing this and doing it properly that I would say in the past year, that I think right as my back injury happened is when I was really serious. And through that whole period, I think the day of my surgery, I was in the best shape possible that I could ever been. So I was as lean as I could get. I was as light as I could get. And that has been, ever since then, I have never felt any better in my life. So it's until you get really serious, then your changes will happen.
But you got to ride it out.
And
you got to get that chemistry.
It takes more than 6 months. It takes more than 8 months. You got to put your nose to the grindstone, do the work, be consistent. Consistency is king, period. The more you can be consistent in what you do, the results will happen. And it's just be consistent, put your mindset out there. This is going to take a little bit, but it's going to take as long as it takes, because everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, Wayne?
No, I'm good.
All right. Sherry, do you have a question you want to jump on in?
And then,
yeah, it's sort of related. I mean, my situation, well, I've been doing Dr. Buzz And I started with the online class I'm at about 14 months now. Also, I'm type 2 diabetic and have been for over 25 years. Also, I've been on insulin for probably 15-ish years. And doing Dr. Boz, I took off 30 pounds.
Nice.
But I'm stalled, I'm so grateful. I feel better, but I have a good distance yet to go. And I went from about 60 units of insulin daily down to, well, last night it was 20 units, but in the past month or two, I've had up to a couple weeks where I didn't use any insulin. I mean, my numbers
Nice.
were low enough.
Wow.
I didn't need to push them any lower. And so I feel like, okay, I'm getting close, but on the other hand, I'm also stalled. I'm 24 hours into a 72-hour fast. But when I say 72-hour fast, as long as I'm on insulin, I use the helps. I use the bone broth. If I need to, I'll use some MCT or coconut oil or cream. I just only push so hard until I really have insulin out of the picture. And I hope that's a reasonable strategy. It feels to me like it is, because like today, I just started feeling a little woozy. I don't think my blood sugar was low, but I was feeling strange, and so I put cream into my coffee.
So here, Sherry, can I stop you right there for just a second?
Yeah.
If you're feeling woozy, you need to check your numbers. That's not the time to guess on what the problem is. You need to know if your glucose is dropping. Was that something you needed glucose, or what you might have been low on electrolytes or minerals or whatever? You need to be able to differentiate that, because you may have just put cream in your coffee. And like for me, cream would have totally jacked up my numbers and my fast. So you'll want to be able to know what cream and all those things exactly do to you, but you're only going to know that by just testing your numbers. So if you start to feel funny, that would be the time you go check. That's how you make the protocol or the challenge of what you're going to do moving forward.
For what it's worth, I have done that in the past, and it hasn't been low. But I agree, I should be doing that if I feel off at all. And like I said, I'm like trying to re-up, and
the way
I haven't done 72 hours before. I've done 2 48s in a week, and I have I know how I feel, but that you're right, I should check. And I do use BHE, and I do use electrolytes. So my question comes down to, I have a lot to lose yet, a goodly amount. I like fat. It makes me feel more comfortable. I don't always digest it well, but overall I can tolerate it digestively pretty well. But sometimes people say, well, I guess it's like once you're keto adapted, if you have weight to lose, don't rely so much, let your body use its own fat, I guess is the message there. And I'm not sure how to apply that concept where I am today. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. A lot of people ask that question, and that's the difference of Keto Continuum. And if you've done that course, you know the 12 steps of Keto Continuum is going to build your fat-based hormones moving forward. You ingesting the fat is teaching those cells to unlock and let that fat come out so your body can learn to use it. Your body doesn't know how to use your fat as a fuel yet. So you have to teach your body, and you only teach it by ingesting it, because it's not accessible right now, because it is stored in that fat cell. So the reason you're ingesting the fat right now, yes, in theory, down the road, would it be great for us to all be like the guys and our bodies running on fat? I could live off my butt and gut for the next year, but we've got to teach it to unlock and let that come out and be your fuel. And right now your body's just not used to doing that. In the 12 steps of Keto Continuum, that's why it's so important. Go through each step before you move yourself forward. Make sure, like you're saying, you're plateauing out. It's time to re-stress your body. You should be pushing and, stretching to that next level that you're ready to go to. I don't know what level of Keto Continuum you're in, but when you get yourself leveled out and you feel you're kind of plateauing, then that means it's time to take your body and stress it to the next level. And, you can't just keep idling and doing the same thing and think your body chemistry is going to change. You got to stress it and move forward. But it's ingesting that fat is to teach your body to unlock the fat that's stored in your body, in the cell.
And when I went through that, when I got to that change of where I was using more fat than I was actually putting in, that took a while for me to do. And I think that's part of the question you were wanting to ask. Your body will naturally use it. I mean, you'll get to a point where once you're fat adapted, your body ignites that fire, and that fire is big, and it uses what you put in, but it also it's constantly using your body fat as you're doing things. Once you get down further in the keto continuum to where you're OMAD, to where you're, ingesting the high fats, then your body is already adapted and using fats as fuel. But you wouldn't have to play with that till you're way down the continuum. But I understand what your thinking is.
I have gone through the continuum. I do bounce around some depending on whatever circumstances in life. But I mean, I've done OMAD, and I've done a meal every other day, and I've done, like I said, the 2 48-hour fasts a week, and
Can I just tell you, for one thing, the magic is in the 72s. So
that's where I'm starting right now. I have not done that before, but again,
a clean 72 is magic.
Yeah.
Got to get the insulin off before I can do.
And you're going to do that by getting your carbs down and staying consistent in that. So you don't want to get your carbs down really low one day, get that insulin under control for a few days, then recarb, and you're going to fill that liver back up with glucose, and you're going to start back over again. So if I was you, I would get that down as low as you can and stay there, and then move forward and progress forward, but then advance yourself and get yourself going in another direction. But staying consistent in that is going to be key to cleaning up that
and
glucose.
Checking numbers.
Yep.
Okie doke.
You got a plan. You know how to do it.
I can't let nuts or nut butters in the house. That's
nope.
It's elimination.
We just found another thing that I'm not gonna do either. So it's it goes along with those keto bricks. I ordered some keto bricks, and that's like, she's telling me, and I'm like, okay, fine, no keto bricks. So she gets all the keto bricks.
You order something as a treat, or to have here for the kids, to add fat for the kids or whatever. It's it's better than a candy bar. It's better than whatever for the kids. I can't consume them. There's sweeteners in them. There's whey proteins and stuff like that, but they're better choices for the kids. So we have got them in.
So we got them. And the biggest kid of all here is
my big kid. Takes them and devours.
I took one, and well, we're not doing that anymore.
But again, it's learning the differences of us. I can have those in the cupboard and go need them if I have a bite and need a bite for a fat bomb or to increase my fats or something. They don't bother me one bit being in that cupboard. Him knowing they're in there.
It's getting better. I'm gonna turn it off.
It's now, it's the differences of I have chocolate in my drawer in the thing. I will throw it away because it goes bad, but it's there if I wanted it, but I don't want it. I can do that. He can't. So it's the differences of learning each other's.
You're just a hoarder.
I am, kind of, pretty much. But it's just that you're going to learn what things you can handle and what things you can't handle. Absolutely. And how we adjust and how we deal with life and deal with the circumstances is totally night and day difference. It's just funny how different we are. It's not a right or wrong. It's just a difference. So, Monday night class. We got a question on Monday night class. Monday night class is where I teach Keto Continuum. Oh, sorry, Sandy, I'll come to you. I forgot about you. Monday night class is where I teach Keto Continuum, and then we do the one-off coaching on that to try to help you. What we're going to be readjusting on this is we're going to do small groups to try to help more people, just like we did with Dr. Boz's class. So we're kind of regrouping and growing a little bit, trying to work through some bumps right now. But Monday class is where I take people through Keto Continuum, and we just help you through step by step. We analyze what your problems are. We analyze your numbers. I work with Keto Mojo, so I have the patient portal to be able to share your numbers, and we can get on and look at the charts, and we can see exactly when you put your stuff in Chronometer and it goes to your Keto Mojo and it comes up on my patient portal. I can then take that and bring it up on the screen for you we pick up your calendar and say, okay, what happens every Wednesday that your numbers are all over the place? What happens every Friday? And then you can see the patterns of, okay, was that little bit of going off the rails on Friday and Saturday worth it? Because now Monday you're starting over again. We can bring all those numbers up and you see graphs and you see the charts and everything. So my Monday night class is for all my paid coaching people and people going through Keto Continuum with me. So that's what Monday nights are for. I'm getting ready to move. The class that I'm on right now is about ready to move to, most of them are about that intermediate to advanced part of it. So I'll be ready to start another group at the beginning. So if anybody's wanting in on that, reach out within the next week or so. I'll be getting that schedule made up and protocol started and figuring out days and times and stuff like that. Sandy, did you have a question, honey? I know
Well, yeah, yes and no, I guess. What you just shared about you and Lance and the different ways you handle the two different things you were talking about. I had been keeping my carbs down quite well. And then somebody else in the program was sharing with me. Now this is about me, not what they shared. And that person was sharing that they eat a particular item because it really is low in carbs. So I went ahead and added that item, and wasn't until yesterday or today that I finally figured out that it's a definite problem for me. Yep. It might as well be a candy bar, because I really like the item, and I need to go back to where I wasn't eating it. And I know it's a learning process, but it's like, I can't believe that I actually did it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Sandy, that is how you learn. You're going to learn by making the mistake and seeing what it does to your body. And for some people, it may not even be a mistake, but for other people, it's truly going to derail you. So again, there's those of us in the advanced part that there were ladies in our group that there's a lady that's been doing it for 4 years and just realized stevia in her coffee in the morning is what was messing her up. So it's like, I give her all the credit in the world for acknowledging that something so silly and so stupid is what derailed her and kept her from reaching all the goals that she wanted. So it's just, you're going to find those things. And once you learn what messes you up, now now it's a choice if you want to have it.
Yeah. Well, it used to be when I went into a restaurant and ate, and I did get the little side salad, I'd tell them no croutons, no whatever, and no tomatoes. And for some reason, at that point, I just knew that I shouldn't have the tomatoes. And that's the item I'm talking about now.
Yep. But it's something where you learn, you're going to consistently learn and grow. The more you're in this, the more you do this, your body is going to change, and different things will come up that don't bother you today that will come up and bother you 4 months from now. But it's a constant thing of you checking and realizing and checking and doing and checking and doing this, and it'll all change. There's no one thing that, no, this is not going to happen. It's going to affect everybody differently everywhere. So kudos to you for finding it.
But I think too, most of the people that have been in this long term, that is why most of us are pretty much what we would say ketovore. I hate putting a label on it, because if I want a salad when I go out to the restaurant and have a steak once a week, I'm going to have a little bite of a salad. But there is nothing in that nutritionally that I'm looking for. There is nothing. It is not doing anything but giving me a little bit of crunch to tide me over till my steak gets in front of me. That's why most of us are pretty much carnivore, ketovore, or whatever you want to call it. We eat the fat and the protein. The rest of the noise is not worth the hassle to me to try to juggle numbers. It is not worth it to me to try to figure all those silly little things out. My body doesn't need any of that. It needs the fat, healthy, good fats, the best fats I can afford to put in my body, and healthy, good proteins, the best proteins that I can put in my body, period.
Well, I'm listening to what you guys say about, the fats. And you're given all the information, but I'm still having a real challenge getting a high enough ratio of fat in.
You'll
I
get
mean,
there.
it's-
You'll get there. It's just you've got to push that nutrition, even if you don't feel hungry. It's the same thing I tell my brother. Even if you're not hungry, you need to get those fats in you because that's your fuel. That's how you're going to get over those hurdles. And if you feel like you're hungry, or even if you're not hungry, it's a chemistry shift. You've got to put the chemistry in. You have to do it.
And here's a good thing, too, with that. Once you realize that fat is your fuel, it's not protein, it's fat that you're fueled on. So it's about getting as much fat that you can when you get there. And that's the one thing that I went through. Even though I was eating the protein, I was not getting it as much fat as I needed. It wasn't, and then clicked. It was like, wait a minute, time out. This is fat based. That means I need fat. If I'm out of energy, then I need more fat. So it's not more protein, it's more fat.
Yep.
Well, I'll look at mine, and it would be pretty easy for me to have close to no protein and all fat.
I think I was 73 grams of protein and 271 grams of fat is what I need.
So again, it's a lot when you convert from grams over to cups of how much fat you have to consume. Ounces or something like that is an amazing amount. And the visual in it is what blew us away. So, I mean, it's just a lot to consider, but just knowing that the chemistry is what's going to carry you. It's the chemistry shift that is going to help you not want to punch somebody in the face and chew your own arm off. I mean, it is. And once that chemistry is stable, it is amazing. We were just laughing at the benefits of not having to eat all day long and 15 times a day and cook all day long and clean the kitchen all day long and be in the kitchen all day. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. She started to cook something today. It was like the kitchen blew up. And I was like, wow.
I don't miss this at all.
And you got to clean it up.
So it's just the benefits of getting it narrowed down to where you're not in the kitchen all darn day. I was like, wow, this is huge. I don't miss being here in this mess. I like one meal a day. I like fasting for 3 days. And then I like only having to cook once. And I like it that way. Ruth Ann, you got a question? Come on in, jump in, hon. Or Gail.
Did you say Ruth? Did you say Ruth Ann or Ruth?
Ruth. Sorry, Ruth.
That's all right. I like Ann. Okay, so I just wanted a clarification. If you're giving yourself insulin and you are trying to get the insulin out of your body in technical terms, don't you have to be at that point where you stop not giving yourself the insulin? Or is that not the point? The point here is that you are changing your chemistry. And that chemistry change will take care of that, which is this insulin. Is that because it hit me that
Okay, so anybody that's a type 2 diabetic that is injecting insulin, it's the same process our body's going to use. It's just our body's releases the insulin. So to take care of the insulin problem, and the insulin being so high in everybody, is decreasing the glucose. So you've got to decrease the glucose either way. So whether it's injecting insulin or your body overproducing insulin, it's all going to come down to decreasing the glucose. So either way, whether you're a type 2 or your body is just overproducing, or you're overproducing it because you're eating too much glucose.
You got too much glucose.
So your bloodstream can only hold so much glucose, and it's going to start chucking it. So you've got to figure out where your carbs are coming from and where that glucose is coming from. I
think the more consistent you keep your glucose in a certain range, then that's where you can fine tune the amount of insulin. I mean, to know that you almost have to be doubly more into the numbers than most of us. If you got to play that game, you're going to have to know that game, not play it. You're going to have to know it.
Yep.
And you have to know where you are all the time, every time.
And testing is the only way you're going to know that.
Exactly.
Jump in.
Okay.
Right. You got a question, Gail? Jump in. Nope, hang on. I got you muted, hon.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
No, I was just going to comment on, first of all, the tomatoes, okay, because I love tomatoes. And early on when I was doing this, I had Carb Manager
and I was tracking, and tomatoes, cherry tomatoes were like 5 carbs for like 6 cherry tomatoes. And then you're only getting 20, but I found out grape tomatoes are 1.4 carbs. So something as simple as that, play around with Chronometer or Carb Manager, find out, because different kinds of tomatoes are lesser in carbs. So I would eat like 5 grape tomatoes, not cherry tomatoes, because I like them on my salad. But yeah, you go to carnivore after you've been here for quite a while, you kind of lose that. But I still eat tomatoes on a salad because I like it. But anyway, play around with Chronometer and find different things are less in carbs, different tomatoes, different, what, any product. So you got to really watch those things. So
And again, knowing your numbers, knowing what they do to you, and knowing the numbers of your foods, it's key information that when you get ready to get into this journey, when you want to take it to the next level, that's how deep you need to go. You need to know your numbers. You need to know what does to you and how to make it not do it.
Yeah, I do totally recommend everybody use Chronometer. It is such more accurate reading than Carb Manager and everything like that. So it's not to slam any of the other ones. It's just when we're doing it to the technical level that we're all usually at, you want Chronometer, because all of that is measured and checked before it's put up on the platform. So you're getting accurate information on the Chronometer, and that's a lot different than most other carb managers or any other
Yeah. So my other struggle is I couldn't join the class. We were on 2 weeks out of the state, and let me just say I enjoyed myself.
Nice.
I had a good diet, but I got a little. I was exercising that shoulder.
You got to work on that shoulder.
I was gonna say, how is that shoulder?
Well, not strengthening yet. I'm 11 weeks and I sleep terrible. I have a lot of sleep issues. That's my pain time. I have pain at night. So that my sleep is screwed up. But the vacation didn't help that, either with range of motion or my, I got a little into the alcohol with the friends. 38 of us stayed on the beach.
Sometimes you got to let that mind go a little bit. So
I missed this whole thing. I really wasn't paying attention, and everybody's talking sardines. I had sardines once in my life, and I thought, I got home and I feel like crud, and that carby face that you get, and I thought, okay, Gail, buck up.
There you go.
Buck
Put
up,
on your big
girl
girl pants, and yeah. So I got, my Costco sardines, and I have pickle mustard, which was amazing. And I did sardines 4 days in a row this week. Nice. And then my numbers were good. It was like I started getting 75 blood glucose. I hang in the 90s. I've been doing this for 4 years and I still hang in the 90s. It's not good. And so again, it's a healing
out
thing.
That liver. Yep. It's
and I really, and again, I'm a low ketone. I've already discussed all that, but I need the ketones because I need to heal.
Yep.
And I think I need it for pain control because I'm really not controlling my pain. And of course they don't give you anything, which is good, but bad. So,
and the inflammation too. I mean, it'll the further you get in there, the less inflammation you'll have, the better it'll heal.
I will tell you guys, the neuropathy pain that I lived with for 18 years after chemo, that was excruciating. I mean, Oxycontin was the only way my feet could touch the floor. I will tell you, ketones is the only blessing that got me through that, was raising those fats, getting my ketones high. And I can still tell a difference when my ketones are low. My pain is, you can feel it coming back. You can feel that, just that pain that I quit feeling. So ketones is the anti-inflammatory. It's, it's a better anti-inflammatory than a medication. It's just long-term. It's just the way to go. I
really wrestled with, should I jump on the train and do the sardines? And I can do the 72s, but maybe not the first week after 2 weeks of not being good, but I did the sardines
for a couple weeks. Do the sardines for a couple weeks and get your chemistry going in the right direction, and then get you primed and prepped and ready for the 72s. Yep.
I don't know what's in them things, but I did some today right before my fast, and I did them last time before my fast. I'm going to rock
usually our last meal before a fast. And
what is in those little creatures, but
I hate to admit it, but I think I'm starting to like them. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And I think I like them.
I can't say I like them, but I can say I air fry them and can get them down now. So
I go with the bacon grease.
Well,
Mashed-
doesn't the air fryer kill your fat in them though? Doesn't it take the fat out?
don't burst my bubble yet.
Oh,
I don't know.
it will. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I don't want to burst my bubble
Put some,
yet.
grease.
put some MCT on it or something. Huh?
Exactly. I need those omega-3s alive and well. So who knows?
Yeah.
But-
Yep. So I was bad girl, but I'm back on track.
Hey,
and I
get
tell
back
you
on
what,
track.
I'm going to tell you, it's not worth being bad. It's
No,
not.
it
I mean,
sucks.
I'll have a drink. I'll have a drink now and then with the girls, but yeah, it was like every day. And I really, about 3 days in, I'm like, I feel horrible. Nothing bad. I mean, I wasn't really like,
Right.
but it's
I
enough
just-
to
yes. Yes.
get your attention.
Yes. Yep. So anyway, back on track.
All right. Any
Thank you.
questions that we haven't answered tonight? Anything big over there?
Nope. I don't got
Anybody
any.
that's needing questions, I will get everything as I get my schedule worked out this week. I will be posting and stuff in the group. Keep check over in the group as I get my schedule figured out when I'll be starting the new class to start through. I'm going to try to get all that figured out. Days, prices, times, everything all figured out this week. So we're kind of regrouping, and give me a minute, bear with me to come off this advanced time frame here that we just put in. So we're trying to regroup, get everything back on track, but we're here to help you. If you have questions, write them over in the support group, the website, journeytoketo.com. If you have anything, you can go to the website, or YouTube will be Journey to Keto with Tammy. So
Yeah.
whew,
I'm
I think
glad
I
you,
got, hey,
you got all those right. I'm so proud.
It's a challenge. It's been a long day. But all right, guys, any questions, anything we can help you with? Are we good to go? Everybody good for the week? You good over there?
I'm good over here.
All right. We'll see
I'm
you
good.
guys next week. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thanks, guys, for coming. Blessed to have you.
All right. We love y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.